Okay, so today's video is The Boys Season 3. By today, again, I said in the last video, and I'll say it again, by today, it's the same day as The Boys Season 1 and Season 2. Let's start off fast here. Alright, so we have our 5 categories: plot, acting, dialogue, cinematography, and soundtrack. Plot, 8.3. This is a drop of zero point 0.6 points from Season 2. Let's just face it, man. Not much happened. Not much happened in this season. You found out, spoiler alert, if you want to get off the video, you can. Homelander is Soldier Boy's son. That's pretty much what you get out of the season. Starlight leaves a 7. That's a big deal. And, look, I'll say about this season, it's a spectacle. It's Herogasm. It's Homelander and Soldier Boy. It's Butcher has powers, Huey has powers. It's just over the top everything. And to me, if you're gonna do that, it's got to come at a price. Something's got to happen. I feel like not a lot happened in this season. And you look at all the characters that died, they're the ones that they introduce. And if we're killing off the characters that we introduce, and we're not doing anything with our characters that we've got in the show so far, what are we doing then? Well, a lot of shows have this problem of when they have like a bunch of like seasons scheduled, they'll like just kind of linger a little bit, filler episode type season, and that's very much what this is. It's an intriguing one because it's got Herogasm and all that other stuff I talked about earlier, where it's got this crazy, just nonsense type feel to the season. But yeah, I don't know. When you look at what actually happened, when you look at the actual start and end result, not much is going on. So yeah, I can get into the plot a little bit. Soldier Boy, coming back, Captain America parody. Really, just the kind of whole him going after his team thing. It feels small for this universe. It feels like a very small story. All for him to end up in a box at the end of the episode or the end of the season. Just locked away the same way he was at the beginning of the season. Just not really a fan of that. I'll go ahead and get on to the acting because there's not much I can really say about the plot at this point. Acting 8.3. I felt like Jensen Ackles did a pretty good job of acting in the season. Homelander, Anthony Starr really kicked it up a notch. Victoria Newman, being in the season, I forgot her actress's name, but phenomenal job. That is an improvement of 0.3 from season 1 and 0.1 from season 2. Not much I can really say about the acting. I mean, can't really describe each individual scene where I feel like they did a good job. I'll say one thing I didn't like about the acting. This isn't really in acting; it's more in dialogue, and we're about to move into dialogue, so I can go ahead and say it here. Okay, so the dialogue is at 8.4. One of the things I didn't like about the dialogue stays the same as season 2 over to season 3. I feel like there was some good lines in here, some good quotables. It's pretty much just crude humor that you remember, though. It's not really like an actual good line. But there's a scene with Homelander doing the Green Goblin multiple personality talking to himself in the mirror type thing, and that scene to me just there's a time for parody and there's a time not to do parody. There's a time to copy something and not to copy something, and I felt like that was just something that didn't need to be copied. I felt like Homelander's already got enough going on with him in the first place. Why are we gonna add Green Goblin type features to the sky? Why are we doing that? Yeah, and then giving Huey and Butcher powers. Spoiler alert for the end of the season. Just the idea that Huey gets away with taking Temp V and Butcher doesn't. I understand it's because Butcher took more than Huey. I get that, but we're saying that the range of side effects for Temp V goes from Butcher, fatal, gonna be dead, going to die from it, to Huey, completely fine. So it's like the limit of 2 to 3 doses. 3 for Butcher will kill your ass. 2 for Huey, you're still fine. You're still a normal human being. You're good. You can actually take 2. Everybody can take 2, not the company. Anyway, thought that was really weird to me. I don't like the borrowed time type characters either. I think it's a bad trope. Um, that's for the dialogue. It's pretty much just a whole bunch of Jensen Ackles saying, "I'm not a fucking pussy." It's pretty much just that. Um, I don't know. There's some Homelander lines in there too. Oh, I'm better. I'm better. There's that whole thing, but it's fine. There's memorable lines, which makes it better than season one because there's not really that many memorable lines, and the dialogue doesn't really serve much of a purpose. I don't know if you guys can hear this heavy ass rain outside, but first we had a lawnmower. Now we have birds and squirrels chirping in the wall, and now we have heavy rain rattling the windows. So I wonder what's next. Maybe a tornado. Maybe that could maybe be an interesting thing. Um, Anyway, it's fine. Cinematography 8-7, best of the series in my opinion. A lot of color, a lot of good action scenes. I really like the scene with Kimiko where she's like envisioning potential like reality where her and Frenchie are able to like sing and dance with each other because she's into music and that's generally in her character that she kind of wishes that she was able to sing, but she doesn't have a voice, so sad. It is sad, but I'm just saying. It is very sad. It's a very colorful scene, very cool scene in my opinion to kind of like demonstrate her character and what she wants her reality to kind of be. Okay, so then soundtrack. I don't really remember a lot of the soundtrack from season 3, if I'm being honest. It's kind of just there. And if it's just there, I'm just gonna give you the traditional 8-6. I'm sure if I look back on it, I'll remember some of it and I'll like it, but I'm just sticking with the 8-6. It wasn't as good as the first season because that was memorable, but I'll keep it about the second season. All right, so that was our major categories there. So now we move on to the bonus categories. All right, immersion, not applicable. Just that's not really what The Boys is. Comedy stays in 8-4. The Boys is The Boys. You're gonna get the same comedy out of it every season. World building, 8-5. I gave season 2 of The Boys an 8-4 because they basically went back. That's a .7 dip from season 1 of The Boys. I felt like The Boys season 1 did a really good job of like setting everything up and really teaching you about the world that you're watching. I gave season 2 an 8-4. They kind of gave the history of how far back Vought goes and how Stormfront and Frederick Vought basically, were married, and I think it might have been Frederick Vought. It might have been someone else. I don't know. But yeah, I felt it did a pretty good job of like covering that, but it still was not nearly as good of world building as season 1 goes. Season 3, however, season 3, I gave it an 8-5. I gave it 0.1 better than season 2. So yeah, basically the reason why I gave it 0.1 better than season 2 is because they cover Payback and basically all of how Soldier Boy's like it covers a span of time that fills in between Stormfront and Homelander, and I felt like that was that kind of helped out understanding the history of Vought because there was this gap before of Stormfront all the way to Homelander, and they kind of hit it right in the middle with this season, and they filled it in. I still think there's a little bit more that needs to be filled in, but I felt they did a pretty good job on that. Characters, I give it an 8-7. Soldier Boy is an interesting character. Every time he's on screen, it's pretty entertaining. Newman got more screen time this season. Butcher and Huey have more exaggerated characters in this season. So yeah, I got the characters on the season for an 8-7. Newman gets more screen time. Soldier Boy is a good character. I don't really... My God, the rain is getting heavy. I don't really like all of like the Payback characters. I like what they did with Noir's character in this season. They did a really good job kind of providing some backstory on what he, like how he came about and basically the era he's from. I didn't know, coming into this season that he was from a different era than the heroes that we have in the room, currently of A-Train, The Deep, Starlight, and all of them. I kind of thought he was of that era, but kind of providing us with his backstory of how old he actually is, and I'm going to kind of get into some spoilers here. His dynamic with Homelander and the trust that they have, I feel like it really set you up for that punch that when Homelander killed Noir, it kind of feels impactful, even though they only set it up like, really in the like last two episodes of before he died. They didn't really set it up too much over the first two seasons, but in the third season they pretty much just hit you with like a 3 to 4 episode span of this is Noir's character, this is why he has an attachment to Homelander, and then when that final gut punch hits you, it actually like means something, and I feel like that they did a really good job of that in a short period of time. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for the review. The final rating, 8.4. This is worse than season 2. This is worse than season 1. Season 1, this is a .4 drop from season 1. It's a .3 drop from season 2. It's at 8.4 because honestly, the plot, nothing happened. Nothing really happened. I mean, because spoiler alert for the next video, Noir, he's not the same Noir, but he's still there, and it feels, even though it's not the same character, it feels like nothing happened. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's a different character. It is obviously different, but I don't like the idea of like the one meaningful death this season doesn't really matter. Soldier Boy ends up in the same spot he began the season at, and Maeve pretty much was absent from the show for the most part. Like, she was not like super super involved, and now she's like less involved. Yeah, Starlight, we knew she didn't fit in with the Seven anyway. That wasn't really new coming into the season, and she left the Seven at the end of the season. So I don't really think that's like new or anything added. Huey's character pretty much stays the same throughout the entire season. And Butcher, I mean, still hates Soups, still wants to kill Soups, and that's what he did, and that's what he's trying to do. And he's, a little bit more protective over Ryan instead of Becca, because Becca is dead. But I don't know. I didn't really see that much that I thought like, oh, that's good. But yeah, gave it an 8.4. It's, to me, it kind of a decline. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and peace.